Be aware, dear listener, the case you are about to hear is not just a typical gruesome crime. It also serves as a reminder of the evil that man is capable of committing, with or without motivation. Though the perpetrator of these horrible murders may have been caught, we are still horrified by what he did, because the truth in this case is scarier than fiction. So lock your doors and turn on the lights and pay close attention. It was a dark and ominous morning on November 13th when a small college campus was rocked by a brutal and senseless act of violence. 4 young students, all with bright futures ahead of them, were violently stabbed in their sleep by a masked assailant. The attack was swift and merciless, leaving the students with multiple wounds and no chance of escape. The police arrived 8 hours later, responding to a 911 call, expecting to find an unconscious person as the caller had described, only to find a scene of pure horror, with blood spattered on the walls and on the floors of the dorm room. It was too late. Why did the police only arrive 8 hours later? And who made the call? The suspect was a PhD student of criminology in a nearby university. 2 of the 6 people in the house survived the attack. The memories of that dark and fateful morning will haunt the survivors, the families, and the community forever. So, what exactly happened, and why? My name is Fidelis, and in this video we are going to learn whether or not this was the perfect murder. Welcome to Crime Bistro. If true crime is your kind of thing, then please consider subscribing to the channel. I post solved and unsolved cases 3 times a week. Nestled in the rolling hills of northern Idaho lies the charming town of Moscow. With its quaint downtown, picturesque parks, and strong sense of community, it's easy to see why Moscow has become one of the most loved towns in Idaho. But Moscow is more than just a quaint small town. It's a hub of innovation and creativity, home to a thriving arts scene, and a destination for outdoor enthusiasts. The city's location near the stunning Palaos region, known for its rolling hills and rich farmland, offers breathtaking natural beauty and ample opportunities for hiking, fishing, and camping. Another fascinating fact about Moscow is its unique relationship with its sister city across the border, Moscow, Russia. This rare connection has resulted in a long-standing friendship between the two cities, with exchange programs and cultural events promoting understanding and unity between two nations. So, whether you are a lover of the outdoors, a fan of the arts, or just looking for a place to call home, Moscow, Idaho has something to offer for everyone. Come and see for yourself why this town is truly one of a kind. Here we find the University of Idaho, founded in 1889. It is a public research university located in Moscow, Idaho. It is the state's oldest and the largest university, offering over 140 majors and programs. With its beautiful campus and commitment to student success, the University of Idaho provides a unique and dynamic learning experience in a welcoming and supportive environment. From its renowned research programs to its diverse student body and vibrant campus life, the University of Idaho is dedicated to shaping the future of its students and the world. This is where all 4 of our victims attended their classes. The shocking killings of 4 University of Idaho students left the town of Moscow, Idaho, on edge for nearly 7 weeks while the authorities searched for a killer. After remaining tight-lipped over the course of the initial investigation, authorities announced that Brian Koberger was arrested in Pennsylvania and charged with 4 counts of murder and 1 count of felony burglary in connection with the stabbing deaths of Madison Morgan, Kaylee Goncalves, Sana Kenodol, and Ethan Chapin. But more on the suspects later. Let's talk about the victims. Murder victim Kaylee Goncalves did not live in the 3-story Idaho home the night she was brutally killed along with 3 others. Kaylee had moved out of the off-campus home weeks before she was murdered as she had lined up a job with an IT firm in Austin, Texas. But she returned to Moscow to visit her childhood and best friend Maddie Morgan and show off her new Range Rover and attend a nearby party together. Maddie and Kaylee were close friends. They went to high school together and attended the same university together. They also lived in the same apartment and ironically, they died together in the same room and in the same bed. Maddie was described by her father as a bright and bubbly girl who enjoyed watching live music. Maddie was preparing to graduate college with her business degree She was a bright person and with a magnetic personality. Sana was the other victim. She was a junior at the University of Idaho, majoring in marketing at the College of Business and Economics. She was also a member of the Pi Beta Phi sorority. Before going to the University of Idaho, she attended Post Falls High School and played volleyball, track, and soccer until she graduated. According to an obituary in the Bonner County Daily Bee, for graduation in 2020, she decorated a mortarboard with flowers and butterfly cutouts and the words, "For the lives that I will change." Sana had worked as a server at the Mad Greek restaurant in Moscow for several years along with Morgan. She loved her dog, Shoeshine, electronic dance music and going on family trips with her sister and father, according to her obituary. She was also dating Ethan Chapin, the fourth victim. Described as one of the most incredible people, Ethan was a triplet born before his sister and brother, who also attended the University of Idaho. Ethan Chapin was in the Sigma Chi fraternity and was majoring in recreation, sports, and tourism management. He loved the social life and tolerated the academics. He lived his best life in college. He was known to be kind and loved sports, especially NFL. He laughed continuously and smiled when he woke up and was still smiling when he went to bed, his obituary said. He also enjoyed country music. It was a dark and eerie night in Moscow on the 12th of November. Two lifelong friends, Kaylee and Maddie, ventured out to the Corner Club bar at 8:57 p.m. Goncalves posted a series of cheerful pictures on Instagram with the caption, "One lucky girl to be surrounded by these people every day," while Ethan and Sana, a young couple, headed to the Sigma Chi house. Little did they know, this night would be their last night. As the night went on, Kaylee and Maddie were seen at Grab Truck that was live streaming on Twitch at 1:41 a.m., grabbing a late night snack before heading back home. They ordered $10 worth of carbonara from the Grab truckers and waited for about 10 minutes for their food. As they waited, they could be seen chatting with each other and with other people standing by the truck. The two students did not seem to be in distress or in any danger in any way. This would be the last time they would be seen alive on camera. Meanwhile, Ethan and Sana made their way back to the house where they would be spending the night. Kaylee called her ex-boyfriend late in the night 7 times, between 2:26 a.m. and 2:44 a.m. He did not pick up the phone. Later, it was revealed that she wanted to mend their relationship. But as the night deepened, a sinister shadow loomed over the house. Sometime between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m., a roommate, awakened by the sound of Kaylee playing with her dog, suddenly heard a voice say, "There's someone here." She looked out of her room but saw nothing. Until moments later, she heard cries coming from Sana's room. She opened her door again and saw a man, dressed in black with a mask, walking past her. He was tall and athletic, with bushy eyebrows. The roommate stood frozen in shock as the masked man approached the sliding glass door. She locked herself in her room. And then, a security camera caught the sounds of a barking dog and distorted voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. It was a chilling moment that would haunt the survivor for the rest of her life. The murders of Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Sana remain a mystery as we don't know what exactly happened in those 25 minutes, but the events of that night will forever be etched in the memories of those two survivors who lived through it. But a question remains. What happened and why? 11:55 a.m. A blood-calling call to 911 from within the resident echoes through the line, reporting a shocking discovery of an unconscious person. The tense voices of multiple roommates frantically speaking to the dispatcher paint a picture of a scene too shocking to imagine. Minutes later, police arrived to the residence. The door to the residence hung open ominously, inviting the arriving officers to the brutal crime scene inside. The officers stumbled upon the grisly discovery of 4 young college students, their bodies cruelly ravaged by fatal stab wounds. The latter county coroner, Kathy Mabut, described the scene as pretty traumatic. The lack of forced entry or damage, according to police reports, only added to the horror of this merciless slaughter. So what happened, and who committed this heinous act? On November 15th, Moscow police reported the murder of 4 University of Idaho students, Chapin, Goncalves, Kenodo, and Morgan. The police statement revealed that the weapon used was an edged weapon such as a knife. Despite the limited information available, the police do not believe that there is an ongoing risk to the community. Mayor Art Bethke referred to the murders as senseless acts of violence and acknowledged that information was limited in order to preserve the integrity of the investigation. The two other roommates that were present at the time of the murder were unarmed. In the hopes of receiving tips from the public, the police released a map and timeline of the victims' movements on the night of the murder. The map showed that the victims were mostly separated in pairs. On November 29th, a white Hyundai Elantra was found by Washington State University officers and linked to the suspect Brian Kobaga. Kobaga was taken into custody on December 30th and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and felony burglary. DNA evidence linked Kobaga to the scene of the crime, and trash recovered from his family residence was used to narrow down his involvement. The victims were found in their off-campus house with multiple stab wounds. The police have clarified that the attack was targeted, but have not determined the target to be either the residence or its occupants. The weapon is still missing. Who is Brian Kobaga and why is he involved? Brian Christopher Kobaga, a 28-year-old PhD student at Washington State University, was recently taken into custody in Chestnut Hill Township, Pennsylvania. He had just completed his first semester of studying criminal justice and criminology at the university located in Pullman, Washington. Not only was Kobaga furthering his education, but he was also sharing his knowledge as an assistant instructor for 3 criminal justice courses at the university. Despite a thorough search of court records in multiple states, there was no criminal history found for Kobaga, except for a minor infraction for failing to wear a seatbelt in August 2022. Before embarking on his academic journey, Kobaga graduated from Northampton Community College with a degree in psychology and went on to receive a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from DeSales University in Allentown, Pennsylvania. He also worked as a part-time casual security officer for the Pleasant Valley School District in Monroe County. However, despite all of his education and work experiences, police have not found any connections between Kobaga and the recent stabbing victims. Months leading to the murders, Brian posted this question on Reddit, asking people to participate in a research project where he wanted to know how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. He also wanted to know the recent offenses people had committed and whether or not they were convicted. Was this research for the 4 murders or just a coincidence? It is alleged that Brian also followed 3 of the 4 victims on Instagram and had actually messaged one of the girls. It was just a basic, "Hey, how are you?" but again and again. He was persistent. However, we do not know for sure whether the victim saw the messages, as they might have went to the message request folder on Instagram. Kobaga was the subject of bullying in middle school but turned his life around in high school, where he took up boxing and lost weight. Some of Kobaga's former classmates said that he had a short fuse and was constantly trying to fit in with different groups of people. The girls he is accused of killing were popular and attractive, similar to the ones who made fun of him during his childhood. A former FBI agent believes the killer could be an involuntary celibate, incel, a term for men who are unable to attract women sexually. In December, authorities asked the public for information about a white Hyundai Elantra they believed was in the immediate area of the crime scenes around the time of the killings. 5 days after the murders, Kobaga received a new license plate for his white Hyundai Elantra. As the tips from the public poured in, investigators traced the ownership of the Elantra back to Kobaga. Following the killings, Kobaga allegedly traveled to Pennsylvania from Washington to spend the holidays with his family. From there, Pennsylvania law enforcement recovered trash from Kobaga family residence and sent the items to an Idaho lab to test for forensic evidence, according to court documents. The following day, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash matched a tan leather knife sheath found laying on the bed of one of the victims. Phone records also indicated Kobaga's phone was near the student's home between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m., mere hours after Kobaga allegedly killed the university students. Kobaga's phone was also near the victim's residence at least 12 times between last June and his arrest, according to court documents. The search warrant served on December 30th allowed authorities to retrieve multiple pieces of evidence, including DNA from Kobaga's apartment in Pullman, Washington, about 10 miles from Moscow. Police seized about a dozen hair strands, one hair possibly belonging to an animal, cuttings from a pillow of reddish-brown stain, and part of a mattress covered with stains. Other items recovered from the home include a nitrate-type black glove, store receipts, a Dickies tag, dust from a vacuum, a Fire TV stick, and a computer tower. So, how strong is the case against Brian Kobaga? And why did he go back to the scene hours later? Recently reviewed video in the Haunting University of Idaho murder case may support the investigators' theory that the murder suspect Brian Kobaga returned to the scene of the killing in his white Hyundai Elantra in the hours after the massacre. Brian allegedly returned to the scene of the crime at least once following the heinous act. A Fox News digital camera recorded a brief sighting of a car heading up to the road next to the Moscow house. The vehicle can be seen at the top of the video frame as two law enforcement officers converse near the side of a field at around 2 p.m. on November 14th. Kobaga's phone pinged in the area of the student's Moscow house around 9 a.m. on November 13th, just 5 hours after he allegedly broke into the off-campus home and stabbed 4 students to death. But by the end of that day, his phone went cold. The suspect infamously drove a white Hyundai Elantra and is believed to have driven by the student's home at least 4 times on the morning of the killings, between 3:30 a.m. and 4 a.m. According to the police probable cause affidavit, at around 4:20 a.m., the same car was captured on video speeding away from the area. So, what was he doing? Did he come back to clean and stage the scene as he was a PhD student of criminology after all? Or was he from disposing the murder weapon? If he indeed came back at 9 a.m., why did he not take the knife sheath that had his DNA? Only one set of footsteps with a diamond pattern commonly found on Van's shoes was found. Was the rest cleaned up? The footstep was not even visible by the human eye. It was only found after the forensic analysis. These questions make you wonder whether the criminology student indeed applied his skills in this case. The data also revealed that Kobaga had been in the area of the student's house at least a dozen times before the murders, generally at odd hours of the day and night. The police affidavit read, all of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days. For now, these questions remain unanswered. However, if you subscribe to the channel, you will get fast updates as more information becomes available. Dear families and friends of Ethan, Sana, Maddie and Kelly, please accept my deepest sympathies and condolences on the loss of your loved ones. I can only imagine the pain and heartache you are feeling right now. I hope that you find comfort in knowing that they will never be forgotten and that they lived their lives to the fullest. In these difficult times, it is important to remember the memories and the moments shared with your loved ones. They brought joy, laughter, and love into the lives of so many, and they will continue to live on in the hearts of those who knew them. My thoughts and prayers are with you and your families during this difficult time. May you find the strength and the support that you need to navigate through this grieving process. With heartfelt condolences. Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on any of our new uploads. And if you have any suggestions or requests for future videos, leave them in the comment sections below. We are also looking for ways to improve and bring you the best content possible. So, your feedback is very much appreciated. And if you haven't already, hit the notification bell so that you can be the first to know when we post something new. Thanks again for your support, and we'll see you in the next video.